the Cardinals game 2 against the Marlins tonight, and it'll be Jordan Montgomery pitching for the Cardinals against Edward Cabrera, not Hennessy's, Edward Cabrera, who's 5-5 with a 4.70 ERA. He's a right-handed pitcher. Tonight's lineup, for those that are interested, I think it's an interesting time now because we're crawling up on the trade deadline. I said, hey, man, I'm not getting jacked up about this stuff until we can see it. And it's now July 18th, and the trade deadline is 5:30 Central Time on August 1st. Unless the Yankees or the Mets or maybe the Dodgers want to make a trade, they can make a trade whenever they want. Doesn't matter, Rob Manfred will look the other way. Anyway, maybe the Cubs in that group too. There I go again, being paranoid. Anyway, Cardinals lineup tonight: Brendan Donovan leading off at DH, Paul Goldschmidt at first base, Lars Nootbaar in center field. Nolan Arenado at third base. Wilson Contreras is the catcher. Alec Burleson in left. Jordan Walker in right. Nolan Gorman at second. Paul DeJong at shortstop. Did I miss something? Wasn't Muscle supposed to be back
You're
tonight?
Supposed to.
60-day IL now, or what happened? When he closed the door, his car door, coming to work, what happened? Is he out again?
I think we're waiting to hear from the ballpark because everybody's intrigued. Is like, what is this? So we're going to find out here in a little bit, maybe. But
well, yeah, I mean, wow. I don't even know what to say anymore. This is crazy town. It really is. I don't know. I can't recall the last time the Cardinals were this crazy in so many ways. And I'm not just saying that. I think, actually, I do remember the last time they were this crazy was, unfortunately, the year after they won the World Series. 2007 was an absolute mess. I mean, you had all kinds of things going on in that clubhouse, including players having a little too much fun, if you catch my drift. You had this Scott Spezio incident where he passed out and was going into convulsions before a game in the clubhouse, and part of Scott's long tormented battle with drugs and alcohol. But there was just a lot of ugly stuff going on that year. This year, I don't know that it's ugly. I think it's just weird. I think it's just stupid. I think it's a little nuts. It's just unlike the Cardinals. And, I don't mind them being, quote, unlike the Cardinals if they were doing it in a way that led to successful baseball. But it's just a little goofy. This is definitely one of the goofiest seasons I remember with all the things going on. And, I guess it's – why should I be surprised to see the lineup and not see Tyler O'Neill on it, right?
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. I'm shocked. I shouldn't be, but I am.
Well, anyway, we'll see what the Cardinals do tonight. They've won 5 out of 6, 6 out of 8, and they're playing good ball. The only problem, and I'm not being nitpicky, I just praised them, and I'm going to tell you about the starting pitching in a minute. But, the problem is they just can't gain any real ground. And so even when they put a little something together, not that I or anyone else would expect them to catch up, in 2 weeks or 3 weeks by doing what they're doing now, winning 6 out of 8, you got to do that. You got to do that over and over and over again. But they're still 11 games behind the first-place Brewers, who return to action tonight. And the Cardinals have caught the Pittsburgh Pirates. And for those of you who would celebrate that, you have my condolences. It's a sad day in St. Louis when it's could come down to that. I'm just kidding with you. So the Cardinals 41-53, and we'll see what they got going tonight. But, hey, big one for Jordan Montgomery. Now that John Mozeliak has gone into the full, hey, I'm the seller, pitching mode. I'm Mr. Pitching. You call me. You call me. Reminds me of Jimmy Jimmy on Breaking Bad, the lawyer.
Oh, yeah.
With the TV commercials. That's Mo, right?
Yeah.
You want pitching? You want pitching? Here I am.
Call me.
Here I am. Call me Mo. Mo's got deals you can't resist. So, anyway, bad joke there. Please forgive me. I'm still a little goofy today. Nobody cares about my personal situation, but I told you all yesterday. Sunday night, I started to feel really bad. Went to bed very early. And it's kind of an illness that I cannot define. And I thought that I woke up this morning and felt better. And, lo and behold, as today went on, and, I'm thinking the time was probably around noon or so, maybe a little later, started feeling just as bad again. I don't know. Is there a doctor in the house, Jim?
I don't have one here. Well, we could try and find one to send them over there to you.
I got body aches. I'm dizzy.
That's not good.
Yeah, really dizzy, body aches. My joints really hurt. And you can make jokes about my weight. That's fine. That's fair game. But that's not why they hurt, because I've been walking around on these joints for a while. Yeah, I'm not going to whine about it. But if I sound kind of goofy, well, first of all, a lot of you would say, well, what the hell else is new? But no, if I sound particularly goofy, I'm going to blame it on that. I'm going to make an excuse in advance. We'll be at Friendly Sports Bar and Grill tomorrow down in South County at Bayless and 55. Cardinals have an early one tomorrow. I believe it's, a 12:15 game? 1:15. It's early.
Yeah.
1:15 game. It's early. And so we'll be there, and I know Jim and I will be watching it. And I hope you all come down to Friendly Sports Bar and Grill and see us. By the way, always a trivia night on Wednesdays when we are there, and we're there every other Wednesday. And the trivia is free. They get a great crowd. Everyone has a ball, and, it's just a good time. So we'll be at Friendly's tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Well, Jim, what do you think of let me find something here. What do you think? I've had time to process a lot of the Mo stuff from yesterday.
Oh.
And I'm not sure what to believe. And listen, I have to be cynical, because they've given us no choice but to be cynical. We've heard a lot of positive things in the past about, in fact, as recently as this past off season, when Mo at the winter warm-up led everybody to believe the Cardinals were going to have a good spike in payroll. You're going to spend more money.
Oh, yeah.
And they technically spent more money, but they moved down in the payroll ranking, so what good was it? They didn't. He gave everyone the impression that it was going to be a big deal. Bill DeWitt Jr.'s rolling up his sleeves. We're ready to spend. And even though they increased the payroll, they fell in the rankings. They're 16th in Major League Baseball this year. So I listened to him with kind of a detector in my ear, a filter in my ear. And I appreciate, that he came out and he wanted to give the media something to play with. And, he, at least on the surface, he wasn't trying to be coy or elusive. He started selling just by putting a message out there. I think we're going to treat the deadline as pitching. That was before the game yesterday. And so at least he sort of came out of that state of denial he's been living in to identify that even he recognizes what his team's most substantial problem is, and he aims to do something about it. And he's owned up to neglecting an obvious issue in last offseason, actually the offseason before that as well, acknowledging that he should have been more aggressive about firming up the rotation. Okay, that's all good. I'd rather have him say it than not say it. I'd rather see him show a little humility rather than being smug and arrogant again. He even said, as we know, and I'm just reviewing it for everyone, he even said that, he needed to do more with the pitching. He recognizes that now. So he took ownership of that. But that's what he should do, first of all. And that's not really the story. Oh, yeah, I mean, declaring yourself a seller is a story. I take that back. I didn't mean to imply it's not a story. But as far as the meat in the story, I don't care if he, on behalf of the Cardinals, is describing their situation as we're sellers and we want pitching and pitching and pitching. Okay, great. What are you going to do about it? What kind of moves are we talking about? You know, even said, we can't fill the rotation slots just through trades. We're going to have to sign a pitcher. We know that. Well, what kind of pitcher? You going to go down the discount aisle again and try that? Where, the Cardinals are like, when it comes to the trade mart, I mean, other than Arenado and Goldie, and let's face it, that was handed to them, and those two teams made it easy. But when it comes to pitching, things like that, I mean, when John Mozeliak's a little bit hesitant, I think, to spend money because the results have been so terrible. So what are we talking about? We going to do another Mike Leake thing? Going to do a Steven Matz thing? What exactly are we talking about? Or are we talking about the more elite class of starting pitchers, and there will be a few available? I don't know what to expect, but I tell you what, one clue's already in evidence, which is they just brushed off Jordan Montgomery's very public, very open sentiment that he'd like to stay here and he would welcome contract talks at least up until the regular season started. And there's just no interest at all. So that might tell you about, we're going to be aggressive. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Hey, and we're going to have to sign a pitcher too. So everyone, I'm sure, and believe me, I'm not ripping any fans. I swear to you, I'm not ripping any fans. But, everyone starts putting together this or that. Well, you got to bring Max Scherzer home, or you got to do this, or you got to do that, or you got to do this. I don't know, man. Been a long time since they shelled out real money for a starting pitcher. It's all been short money. The Cardinals, Bill DeWitt is like one of these people you see, and I haven't been to a casino a long time, but, he wants to play the penny slots, and if he hits the penny slot jackpot, he's really happy. But he ain't going to sit at the big boy table. He ain't going to sit at the big boy slot machines or the big boy tables. So until they prove otherwise, I have no reason to believe that they're going to do it now. I could be wrong. But at least for once, they seem to be embarrassed. They seem to be, wait a minute, we did screw this up. We can't deny it anymore. But maybe that was the point. Maybe they just wanted to tell us what we wanted to hear. They're no stranger to doing that. So, Jim, what it comes down to is this, and let's put first things first. They have a lot of things that they can put on the market that would be appealing. Mm-hmm. They do. I think they have more to trade than most teams, talking about impending free agents, even some other players, some relievers and such. But what are they going to be able to bring back the other way if they make some of these trades? We'll talk to Joe Sheehan about that, who's coming up, because Joe's belief, and I want to see if he's changed at all, because it's possible that the Cardinals would get more than I thought they would a few weeks ago, because there's not that many sellers, and the Cardinals have some of the goods. They have some of the more attractive pieces that'll be on this trade market. Realistic trade pieces. I ain't talking about Ohtani. That's a whole separate category. But how are they going to assemble all this pitching? And are they going to make smart trades, or is it going to be more trades where we say, oh, boy, what were they thinking?
Uh-huh.
Free agent, is it going to be something worthwhile, or is it going to be, oh, boy, this kind of reminds me of Kip Wells back in the day. What's it going to be? So I'll give him a little golf clap, and I'll say I'm glad to hear the things that Mo said yesterday. Now I'm going to lean back and find out if it's lip service, if it's a PR ploy, or they really mean it. And we will know if they really mean it, because if they're picking up other people's trash, and they got Gersh out there in the pickup truck, he found Ryan Tepera for him.
Yes, he did.
They got Gersh out there patrolling the alleys. So, hey, Mo, there's a couch here. It's got some fire damage, but I think I can fix her up. We'll get iPad. Coach iPad will fix it up. Is it going to be like that, or are they going to be more ambitious? Now, look, in fairness to them, Mo did a hell of a job last year at the deadline. Montgomery and Quintana. Those guys were terrific. Mm-hmm. Quintana's gone. Montgomery's going to be gone. And it just shows you, even when they hit a little bit of a jackpot, they don't know what to do with it because they're still too cheap to retain starting pitching. Yet they give $18 million to a soon-to-be 43-year-old starting pitcher who can't pitch anymore, things like that. So I don't know what to expect from them, but they're going to have to, pardon the cliche, they're going to have to show me. It's as simple as that. They're just going to have to show me. I noted the sales pitch, the marketing pitch, letting the fans, hey, we hear you, and we're going to go get pitching, not just for trades, but off-season signings. We heard you, fans. We heard you, best fans in baseball. I think a lot of fans probably kind of have my attitude, which is, again, simply, okay, it's good to hear. Now, show me. Show us. And I'm not so sure about that part. We'll find out. Hey, man, I am more than happy to give credit. I'll give lavish praise if it's warranted. That's not it. I'm just not. This is kind of a marketing thing, and I'm just not that interested in it. I need to see the action, not the slogan. Pitching. I don't need the slogan. I actually need to see pitchers, right? You can hold off on the slogan. Show me the pitchers that you're going to bring in here for this year and going through 2024, maybe even 2025. What do you think, Jim?
I may even be a little more skeptical than you are, just because I just, in my mind, I have this picture in my head, at least for the offseason, is, hey, look at these three guys we picked up from the Far East. Their spin rates were good. They're going to be contributors. I'm like, whoa, hold on a minute. We're going the cheap route again, are we? Aaron Brooks, Drew Verhagen. Verhagen, yes. Didn't we?
It's been great.
We saw that before. I'm sure there's going to be, this isn't fair to whoever that player may be, but there's going to be another lower budget pitcher like Steven Matz signed at some point because they just need bodies. They're going to be that desperate. So I'm like, okay, that's a bad one. They got to find a way, and maybe it's with this trade deadline situation. They got to find a way to get a couple power arms or arms that could at least strike some guys out that are younger that they have a little bit of control over. I don't know how they're going to do that. I know in Derek Gould's piece, I think it was over the weekend or one of his chats, he mentioned like the name Logan Gilbert from Seattle the Cardinals have shown interest in. That type of guy who is a 6'6" guy, can throw a little bit and also has a little bit of control. That's the kind of guy I think they're going to need to bring in here. I'm skeptical they can make that happen, but we'll see. Bernie, I have no faith that whoever the top three guys are on the market when it comes to free agency, the Cardinals would ever be able to get signed. I just always put that out of my mind. Yeah, you can tell me, well, we kicked the tires on it. We called that. They're just never going to,
they wanted, they wanted Gorman, they wanted Walker.
Yeah.
They wanted Herrera,
Yeah, all that stuff.
They wanted Nootbaar, they wanted Donovan. We weren't going to do that. Yeah. They make that stuff up every year.
So
they haven't earned our trust, Jim. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, you're right. That's simply, I don't trust them yet. I'm hopeful. They can find a few guys. And if they can find a Quintana, but it's got to be somebody in terms of a quality of Quintana, but they got to be able to be here for 3 years or so because you just can't keep trying to do this year after year after year because then you end up where you are this year where you're going, oh, well, we thought we'd hang around and then go find some. Well, you weren't even good enough to hang around this year. So it's silly to continue to go with that model. So we'll see.
Let me just for kicks.
Yeah,
I was doing some poking around before the show just to see what the latest scuttlebutt is involving the Cardinals. And I'm not gonna mention the dude's name, but he writes for Fansided. I don't think he's local. Fansided is pretty popular, and it's like anybody wants to write for it can. Mm-hmm. And most of the people on there write about 29, 39, 49 pieces a day, or so it seems. Anyway, I put together Bird Bites today for scoops at DannyMac.com, mm-hmm. and I made this the last one because it just cracked me up. It just really, really cracked me up. And so let me pull this up, and I'm sorry that I don't have it pulled up. But like I said, I'm kind of out of it. This is my final note.
Okay.
On this. So right here, I'll just read it verbatim. Some dude at Fansided wants to see the Cardinals trade Jordan Walker to Seattle. And that's not all. He suggests including Nolan Gorman in the deal.
Oh.
Okay, champ. Okay, champ, whatever you say.
Man.
So I was kind of in the mood. I needed something like that to make me laugh.
That's good.
That was really good. That's one of the best ones I've seen. I'm just surprised he didn't throw in, Newt Barr and Donovan. Because you got kind of like all these bloggers out there, and listen, I'm a blogger too, so I don't look down on them, but I look down on people that spend their whole day concocting these trade scenarios that are not moored in any type of reality. But they seem to be in a hurry to trade Gorman and Donovan for some reason. I don't know why. Just seem to be in a hurry to do that.
It's amazing.
I don't get it. So I do not get it, man.
Well, Seattle needs hitters, so the Cardinals will give them all their best hitters, prospects. That's how it works,
It's the way it should be. We'll get back to the Mozeliak trade saga. I've got some stuff on this that will add context about where the Cardinals need to be in terms of their starting pitching. And yes, the lines are drawn pretty firmly. And I'll read it to you. It is nothing convoluted or difficult to comprehend. It's not a lot of fancy pants numbers. I wanted to see the starting rotation and the correlation between the quality of your rotation as it pertains. Do you win a pennant? Do you win the World Series? Like what's kind of like the standard that's out there that you have to hit, or you're just fooling yourself? And I thought it was really interesting what I came up with. So I'll make sure to. In fact, I'll be jumping on that soon.